Hi crafters, it's Kathy here from Scrap and Bean, and today I'm going to be doing an art journal page. So I thought I'd film this and you can follow along if you'd like. So I'm starting off with this piece of scrapbook paper, and then I'm cutting a lot of the elements out of it. So with the magic of video, poof, it's all cut up. So if you are going to be following, I would suggest that at this screenshot you pause it while you do your cutting out. So I have placed these in the same position that they are on here, so it's easy for you to see what I cut out if you're wanting to follow it exactly. I didn't use all the pieces. There's some things like I don't know, like these little bugs that I don't really care for, so I just left them out, and these here. But if you like those, cut out pieces you want, because you can definitely collage them. And if things aren't cut perfect, like there's some things, I cut these little butterflies, but because this butterfly on the paper is overlapping this corner, like on here, I wanted to have the whole butterfly, so I just cut out that little corner. And we're going to hide where this is cut out. I love this fountain pen, so we want to make sure we use that. This clock that is hidden behind here, I just have it chopped off, and we're going to hide that edge. Same with this. It doesn't matter, it's a flat edge. We'll hide it. So you'll see as we go along how we make that all work. So for now, I'm going to start with my background page. So for my background, I want to have some color, but I don't want it to be super vibrant. I just want to go with this whole kind of natural looking earth tones. I am going to gesso the background, and I am going to experiment with doing a little bit of this technique with infusions. So a few weeks ago, or recently, I did a video using the infusions, and now I want to use one of those same techniques but on my art journal page. So I'm going to use two different colors here. I'm using the terracotta and the golden sands, which is going to be my main color. I just want it a little bit darker on the edges, so I'm sprinkling my terracotta down the sides, and my golden sands is going to be everywhere else. And that should give me an interesting background. Now I'm going to put gesso on it, but I want to liven these up, get those colors moving. If you haven't used infusions before or seen them in use, you may want to check out my video on the infusions. It goes a little more in depth than we will here. Now these are more vibrant than I want, but it's really going to change when I put the gesso down here on it. So I'm just going to end up with some beautiful streaks of color. And for now, I'm trying to kind of stay out of the terracotta so that this part is mostly yellow. But you know what? If that doesn't work out, that's okay too. My colors get mixed in. I'm totally okay with that. So, and I don't need to gesso the background. I'm just using that to kind of lighten up those colors and get this kind of a streak technique. So I'm fine with watering that down as well. There, I've got some beautiful streaks going there. I really like that. So my background is no longer white. It's got this other stuff mixed in there with it. And if you want a little bit more golden color, you could definitely sprinkle some more in. In fact, we'll just try that. And I'm even going to liven it up there with some good moisture. And then we'll go back and look at the extra streaks I'm getting. Like that. So you can work with that until you get it the way you want. Now, without even cleaning my brush, I'm going to dig right into my terracotta. Yeah, that works for me. So a little bit more gesso. And here comes that really bright terracotta stuff. Now I've got a lot of thick gesso on there, so it might be wiping out too much color. No, that works. That works. And then the two are just kind of blending together. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, a little bit more gesso for this side. So you can see where that terracotta now, it's kind of framing the two outside edges. They're blending together nice. That's working for me, and I think I will just go with that. Now you do want to put your brush in water right away because all that's going to harden on your brush. And I happen to be using this chalky gesso, but any kind of white gesso is going to have that same effect. It's very thin. If it's not thin enough, you water it down. And now it's time to heat that, just so I can move on. Okay, so my surface is all dry there in the art journal, and I'm going to use a couple of stamps on this project. My idea with this was actually to use some of the things I've done in the videos recently, use the same stamps and products. So we used our infusions already. I'm going to use this stamp, which I did in a recent video. It's by Stampendous, and it's called Those We Love. In this video, or in this project, I really just want those green, or the leaves on there, those nature leaves, and I want some text, but I don't even want it to be readable. So I'm going to stamp. You can use any one of the stamps that you already have that has text, even if it's a sentiment, because we really don't want to read it. So it doesn't matter that the words don't match. And for a stamping block, I just took the lid off of my Tim Holtz stamp platform. I'm using it as a stamping block on here because, you know, whatever works. So I'm going to ink it up with some archival ink. And, oh, I meant to actually not stamp up this title that says Those We Love, because I don't actually want that title in there. So I'm just going to wipe that ink right off. These words here I'll leave, but I want them to just, I'm not going to press very well on there. I really just want it more of the leaves, and then a little bit of words so that we got some random text, hopefully not even readable. And I want it up in this area here. So I'm going to press down good on my plants there and just quickly over the text because I just want it to be not very good text, just like this. Perfect. So I skipped the title. I have a little bit of text, kind of hard to read, and that's the way I want it. On this side here, I am just going to put the plants rather than any text at all. So I will just ink up the plants and see if we can get a decent one out of here again. If there's a little bit of text showing on the edge, that's okay. Yeah, perfect. In fact, I think I'll take this stamp and to get some random text, just lightly stamp up the text part. Now this time, I don't want the plant to show, so I really should clean off any ink left over on there. And I don't want the title because that's a nice big word and you'll be able to read it. And I don't want anything really legible on here, so I'm just going to lightly stamp the text. Hopefully not all of it comes out. And we'll just do a little bit of text here and there. Because some of this I'm going to be covering up anyway, so not a lot of that's going to show. But here's just another way you can use your sentiment stamps. Just use them for some random text background. That'll work. And then this one that I just recently did in a Try It Tuesday video as well, I stamped again on the book paper. This one I got something on it, but that's okay. So I've got that stamped on there already, and I'm just going to rip out a piece of that because this kind of goes with this whole nature theme. And actually this piece of book page, maybe that'll get incorporated somewhere. Who knows? I want to tear off these edges because I really just want the part that's got text on it. I don't want the blank part of the page. Alrighty, that's good. So I'll maybe put this down here somewhere. If I'm going to do that, I should take off a bunch of this blank area too. There. Works for me. So now I want to lay out all of these pieces that we've cut. Very roughly what I'm going to do. And to glue, I'm going to use gel medium and a paintbrush. I am going to chance it with having this and a little bit of that yellow coming off the infusions. And just going over the whole thing. Now I got to get some infusions on my brush or it's not going to yellow everything. There we go. Wake up some infusions. No. I guess it's not going to. I've covered it with matte medium and then it really kind of seals it down there, so lost my window of opportunity to get that infusions to smear on top. But that's okay. I'm going to go over everything just to make sure that this is not going to come up. So now the matte medium is mostly dry. I want to accent this collage a little bit more, so I am taking this Faber-Castell's Pitt pen. It's a big brush pen. It's got India ink in it, and how this works is when you are on a non-porous surface, which this is now because the matte medium everywhere has turned it into a non-porous surface, you can actually have a few seconds to smear it. So I'm just going to color along my edges and then take my finger, because you can see I don't mind my hands getting dirty, and smear it. And that's just going to add some a little more antiquing. Plus it's fun to just do some more stuff to your page. And I only do a little bit at a time because you've got a few seconds while that's wet to do some smearing, and once it's dry, it is permanent. And that just helps those individual pieces to stand out a little bit. And you can see when I color it on there, I'm actually being pretty messy. You don't need to be neat because you're just going to smear it anyways. And I like how a little bit of our plants there from our stamp showed up around the edge. I'll be brave and do 3 of these at once. Get it to smear. Yeah. And around my butterfly. Just makes it look a little bit more aged, darkens it a little bit. There, that's everything on that side. So you can see how that looks a little bit different there than here until I get this on here. Just age that all a little. I like that little subtle difference that makes. I use these Pitt pens in many of my art journal pages just to do this little bit of a shadow, little accent. They're quite forgiving because you could just, I tend to be a messy creator and I'm okay with that. Okay, do we have them all? Maybe this book page. And that just brings out that torn edge a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. Trim my pieces off the back here. And you'll notice for this project, I actually tore the pages out of my art journal to work on it, and then I can use some washi tape and just glue them back right into the journal if you want. Sometimes it's easier to work on it when it's flat. And I think I also want to do just a very light splattering of paint. So I have this Tim Holtz splatter brush, which I love. I used to use a paintbrush and just kind of flick it. And that does work, but wow, does this make a difference. Okay, so I'm using just brown paint, whatever brown paint you have. This happens to be chalk paint because those are my favorites, so I have lots of them. And chocolate pudding, sounds delicious. Now sometimes I do this straight on, sometimes I water it down. So I will try it straight on and see what happens. I think I need more. I think I need it to be watered down a little bit. And this is just going to add some all over spatters of brown paint. Just a few. I have done this on projects where it gets to be so fun that I have the whole thing splattered a little too much, and it's obviously hard to get back off again. So is that enough? No, I think I do need a little bit more. And I'll water it down just a bit. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're getting some bigger splatters on there now. And then I just need to stop before it gets too crazy. But this is fun. And look at how beautifully messy my hands get. Woo. Okay, so that's good. I like that. And I think I would like to ink up the edges or do something to make the edges darker. Got a few options. I've got brown paint here. We got brown ink. Or what would happen? What would happen if we just smudged it up with this since it's out here? I want it a little bit less. I don't want it super regular. I want it to go irregular. And you notice when I wipe too much away, I can just add some more. So it just kind of darkened up on the frame a little bit. I may end up putting some distress ink on there because I think, okay, I'm getting a bit of a darker edge on there. Just kind of helps frame it a little bit, finish it off. And again, I don't want it even or regular. If you want it even, you could lay down a ruler and make sure that it just is the even width all the way around, but I want it to be irregular. I don't want any perfection, but I do want this edge trimmed off so it's not sticking out the side of my book. And do some extra darkness on the corners. There we go. There, and I don't have a quote for this page. I may just leave it without a quote, but if I want to, if I find something that appeals to me, I may stick it on there later. But so that pretty much finishes off our project today. So I hope you give collage a try. And you can certainly use some of the supplies that we've been working with on the last several videos, and now it shows you to bring them together on a different project. Have fun crafting.